Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here on Play on GAA. Today is myself, Seamus Brady, doing my personal preview of the Allianz Football League Round 3. It's been a very interesting opening 2 rounds to the Allianz Football League of 2022. All 4 divisions haven't gone the way that we thought they were going to go. And now this is my preview and predictions for Round 3. Let's start with Division 1. So the first game on Saturday in Division 1, throwing in at 5:30 at the Athletic Grounds, Armagh against Monaghan. Obviously, Armagh are the story of the league campaign so far. Back-to-back wins. First one over Dublin in Croke Park. Then the next one over the All-Ireland champions Tyrone. Obviously, that big melee at the end. But Armagh throughout that game were fantastic, winning the game by 6 points. The goals, of course, coming from Greg McCabe and Nugent. Jason Duffy. They're absolutely fantastic and they were well worth the victory. And along the way, they're rooting out new ways to improve. Jarlath O'Byrne, as I mentioned multiple times on this channel, is an absolute gem for them at wing back. Rian O'Neill's in the form of his life. Aidan Nugent and Jason Duffy in the corners are working really well off Rian O'Neill in there. They move around a lot. Like they're in the forward line 1 second, then they're out moving around the middle. Rory Grugan at centre forward has been absolutely fantastic. Tiernan Kelly's another footballer I really like, whether he's at midfield or wing forward, he's doing really, really well. And yet Armagh just moving sweetly along. In this game now against Monaghan, of course, they had that low scoring draw against Tyrone, and then they lost at home to Mayo. So Monaghan aren't in the best of form. I mean, the game against Tyrone, in my opinion, they would have been disappointed not to have won that game. I mean, they had the win behind them going into the last quarter of the game. They were 1 point down. They had Conor McManus on. So they would have been disappointed to not get the win in that game. But for Monaghan going into this one, this game's a must win, because if they go 3 games without a victory, then they're starting to seriously look at relegation. But I think that's what's going to happen here. I think Armagh, they're in too hot form, and especially with the game being at home, I just see Armagh winning this game. The thing that I'm so interested with Armagh is when Oisin O'Neill comes back in, how much he's going to improve them, because Oisin is another unbelievable footballer, and putting him back into that Armagh team, whether he plays at midfield, whether he plays at centre forward, full forward line, wing forward, his impact on the game is going to be absolutely massive, and he's going to improve Armagh unbelievably, and they already look so good. So it's going to be fascinating to see when he comes back in. So that's my prediction for this game. I think Armagh are going to make it 3 from 3 and then seriously start to look at competing for the Division 1 title, which, I mean, they're already doing after beating Dublin and Tyrone. But 3 from 3, that will put them right up there at the top of the table. The other game then in Division 1 on Saturday is at 7:30 in Croke Park. Dublin against Mayo, a replay of the All-Ireland semi-final last year, the All-Ireland final of 2020 as well, and really just the best rivalry that I've been privileged enough to witness in my life. Dublin against Mayo, all the games from 2012 on, every game between Dublin and Mayo was an epic. And this game as well is really, really interesting, because Mayo obviously they're just cursed with injuries. Owen McLaughlin obviously got injured against Monaghan. Killian O'Connor's out. Tommy Conroy's out. But on the other hand, they've made a good start to the league. They really fought back well against Donegal to get that draw in match day 1. And then in match day 2, they go away to Clonus and they beat Monaghan. And they really grind out that victory. Ryan O'Donoghue's goal was a brilliant goal. And then Jason Doherty's goal as well. That proves to be the difference. Going away to Dublin, obviously Dublin have had the worst start to the league possible. The worst start that I can remember Dublin having to a league since I've been watching. Back-to-back defeats. First one against Armagh and Croke Park just didn't turn up. Second one against Kerry, I thought the performance was a little bit better, but Kerry were very good that night, and down in Tralee it would have been very hard to pull out the win anyway. But based off the fact that the performance improved, and based off the fact that Dublin have to win this game. They have to win this game. They don't win this game, that's 3 defeats in a row, and Dublin are seriously looking at the drop then. So I think Dublin are going to win this game. I'm predicting Dublin to win narrowly, but I think that just because the pressure is really on, I think Dublin are going to do it. If not, the pressure will be ramped up on Dessie Farrell, because a relegation for Dublin, the 6 in a row All-Ireland champions, is just inconceivable. And for Mayo, I think with their injuries, the players that they'll be missing, I just think it's a bit too much for them to go to Croke Park and beat Dublin. But who knows? We'll see how it turns out. I wouldn't be surprised if they do it, but I think just because of how much is on the line for Dessie Farrell and for Dublin, I think they're going to win this game. Then on Sunday in Division 1, Kerry host Donegal at Fitzgerald Stadium. Kerry, obviously, they've had an interesting start to the league. Obviously, drawing away to Kildare, they would have wanted a better start than that, but then getting Dublin down in Tralee and beating them down there, I mean, that is exactly what they would have wanted. I just think that this game is made for Kerry. I think Donegal, they beat Kildare, which a lot of people expect them to do. They beat Kildare at home, but I just think they're not going to win this game. The way that they threw the game away against Mayo is still a real showcasing for me that this Donegal team, they're not at that level. And I think Kerry, if they're aiming for the All-Ireland, I think beating Donegal is a really good way of kind of showing that they're serious about winning the All-Ireland this year. So I'm going to go with Kerry to win that one. And then finally, the last game in Division 1, Tyrone host Kildare at Healy Park in Omagh. Again, it's another really, really tough away trip for Kildare. A Tyrone side which are hurt. I mean, they started the league off with that draw, as I mentioned, against Monaghan, and then defeat to Armagh by 6 points. The local rivals, a team on the rise. Tyrone will be missing a lot of lads through suspension. Of course, the 4 guys that were red carded unbelievably. So that's Hampsey, Peter Hart, Michael McKernan and Kieran McGeary. So, I mean, that's a lot of firepower missing from the Tyrone team. The only thing is the strength and depth that Tyrone have is off the charts. It's ridiculous. I mean, you got Paul Donaghy, Dara Canavan, Darren McCurry, a lot of these lads that just can come in. So Tyrone will be fine. They're going to bring on and really show the strength and depth that they have. And I think they're going to win this game against Kildare. I think it's too much to ask for Glenn Ryan's men to go up to Healy Park and Omagh to win this game. I think it will be a little bit of a step too far to them. I don't see them being able to do it. But it will be very interesting to see just how much they can put it up to them. So, yeah, that's my predictions for Division 1. Moving on then to Division 2. No matches in Division 2 on the Saturday, as I'm reading here, but the matches kick off on the Sunday. The first game, all the games are on at 2:00 on Sunday. The first one being Roscommon against Clare in Dr. Hyde Park. Roscommon have made pretty much exactly the start you would expect from a side that have been promoted from Division 2 quite a few times over the last few years. Back-to-back victories over Cork and over Meath. So, yeah, Roscommon doing exactly what we would always kind of expected from them. They're a very well-oiled, well-drilled side. And as well as that, they don't have their Pádraig Pearses lads. So when they get them back in, like the Dailies, like David Murray, it will be very interesting to see just how much they improve. Obviously, Conor Cox is, red hot for them right now. They've got the young lad Heenahan in there as well, who looks like a really good player for them coming up in the future. And the Smith brothers, Enda and Downey, they're moving very well as well. Clare at home. Clare played Cork. They went away to Cork. I thought they were going to win. They didn't. They drew. I mean, that game was there for Clare to win. If Darren O'Neill doesn't touch that ball to drop short and knock it to his own net, Clare, in my opinion, win that game, and they're on back-to-back wins going into this one. But I would still think that going away to the Hyde and beating Roscommon is a step too far for Clare. In my opinion, I think Roscommon are going to win this game again in classic Roscommon fashion. I just think it's a 2 or 3 point victory for Roscommon. Just comprehensive enough that they just get the job done. I don't see them shooting the lights out. I don't see them beating Clare by a lot, but I do see them getting the win. The next game then, Meath against Down in Pork Talton. This game is a 4-pointer. This game really, really decides, in my opinion, who is staring at the drop right in the face. Meath have been awful since the league campaign started. Obviously, the first day out against Galway, taking them 45 minutes to score 1 point. Then in the second game against Roscommon, they got battered in the first half. They come right back into it in the second half, but then they fall short. They were a bit better in that game. Down, on the other hand, obviously the same as them, back-to-back defeats. First one was to Derry quite comfortably, and then second was to Galway quite comfortably as well. So both these sides have never really looked like winning either of their first 2 games. So going into this game, there's massive pressure on both sides. Me personally, I'm going to go with Meath to win this game. I just think that home advantage and the fact that I do think that they have a better panel than Down and a more settled panel. I mean, the amount of lads, 80 plus lads that Down have had in the panel over the last 5 years is absolutely crazy. So I think a bit of continuity in the Meath side, even though I don't think they're the best for continuity. I mean, Andy McEntee has used, I think it's 13 goalkeepers since he's been in charge. So not much continuity in me there either. So these two sides share a lot in common, but I'm going to go with Meath to get this victory. Not by much, but I think Meath will get this just to kind of give themselves a bit of oxygen. But if Down win this game, I think Meath are pretty much relegated. And speaking of teams that I think could be relegated, Galway play against Offaly. Offaly are the side that I think are staring relegation right in the face, of course. Beaten on the first day out by Clare by 9 points, and then beaten by Clare, and then beaten by Derry the second day out. Obviously, the first day against Clare, they were, 5 points to 2 up pretty quickly and looked pretty good. But then for the rest of the game, they just got dominated. And now they go away to Pearse Stadium to play against Galway. A Galway side who are not a Division 2 team, let's be honest. The talent that they have, Matthew Tierney, Shane Walsh, Tom O'Callaghan, we could go on all day. So, yeah, I think Galway are winning this game. I think pretty comfortably. It could be a thrashing if Galway wanted to be, but I don't think they will. I think they'll use it as an opportunity to kind of blood in a few new faces, like get more minutes into the likes of Jack Glynn, Tony Gill, more minutes into the likes of Tom O'Callaghan, and get those lads more settled into the team. That's what I think Galway are going to use this game for. They'll put it to bed early, and then they'll take off the likes of Shane Walsh and, just coast over the line. So I think Galway are going to win this game. And then in Owen Beg, the last game, Derry against Cork. This one's very interesting because obviously Derry have started the league campaign in exactly the type of form that we thought they would. Back-to-back victories over Down and then over Offaly. But these are two of the sides that would be hotly tipped to be in a bit of a relegation battle. Now they're playing against Cork, a side that are, in my opinion, a bit of a step up from both of those teams, but still not pushing for promotion. Keith Ricken, of course, has had a very interesting beginning to his Cork campaign. Obviously, the likes of Luke Connolly, Rory Dean, Mark Collins saying that they're not committing. There seems to be something a bit wrong in the camp. But meanwhile, in the Derry camp, obviously, it's all smiles. I mean, Conor Glass, Kieran McFall, Emmett Bradley, Shane McGuigan, Niall Loughlin, they're all playing unbelievable football. Back-to-back wins to begin off Division 2. They're pushing for promotion to Division 1. Make no mistake about it. So combine this with home advantage, I think Derry are going to win this game, make it 3 from 3. And then they're seriously looking at promotion along with Roscommon and Galway. They're the big three going for promotion in Division 2. As for Cork, I do think that Cork will be fine. I think they'll be mid-table. But yeah, I can't see them winning this game. And then let's move from Division 2 then to Division 3. First game in Division 3 is on the Saturday. Antrim host Wicklow in Corrigan Park in Belfast. Simply put, I think Antrim are going to win this game. I think going up to Corrigan Park is a tough trip for any team to make. The conditions up there, it's always windy as hell up there. And yeah, I just think Antrim are moving very well under Enda McGinley. Wicklow have put in 2 spirited performances in their opening games, but they haven't really gotten much to show for it. I mean, they got the draw against Fermanagh. They fought back, got a late point to snatch the draw. But having seen how well Antrim just swept Fermanagh aside on the opening round of the league campaign away from home as well, I think for Wicklow to go to Antrim, now Antrim have home advantage against the side that drew with a side that they hammered away from home, if you get what I mean. So I can't see Antrim losing this game. So I'm going to go with Antrim to beat Wicklow and to get back on the horse, obviously, after their defeat last week to Limerick. Then the next game in Division 3 is at 6 o'clock on Saturday, Fermanagh against Laois. Now, Fermanagh have really stumbled out the gate, defeat at home and comfortably as well to Antrim, and then they blew a lead and draw with Wicklow. Now they're playing against a Laois side that have started really well, back-to-back wins, of course, under Billy Sheehan. And you know what? I'm going to go with Laois to make it 3 from 3. I think that Laois are actually in a good strain of form right now. Mark Barry and Evan O'Carroll up front are doing the business for them. Trevor Collins and John O'Loughlin are keeping it tight at the back. Yeah, I think they're moving really well. So I'm going to go at least to win this one. Not by much. I think Fermanagh will give a bit of a kick back. But I think Laois are in a really good spot right now. So I'm going to go with them to win that one. And then moving on to the fixtures on Sunday, the first game in Division 3 on Sunday is, the two games on Sunday in Division 3. Westmeath play Longford at 2 o'clock in Cusack Park in Mullingar, and Limerick play Louth in the Gaelic grounds at 2 o'clock as well. Firstly, the Westmeath Longford game, straight up, I think Westmeath are going to win. They've started really well. They're looking towards promotion, I think, in my opinion. A really well-oiled side there. John Heslin looks in great form. Longford have not had an ideal start, and I think that is going to continue. Westmeath to win that game for me. Limerick against Louth. Straight up, I think Limerick are going to win. Going away to Antrim and winning that game, very impressive. So, yeah, now that they have Louth at home, I think, this is Limerick's game to lose. So that's my prediction for that game. And then moving on then finally from Division 3 to Division 4. First game in Division 4 is on Saturday. It's at 7 o'clock in Netwatch Dr. Cullen Park. Carlow host Waterford. Two sides that have had an interesting start to the league campaign for different reasons. Obviously, both these sides have lost to London in the opening two games. Carlow lost at home to London. Waterford lost away. Now Carlow have home advantage against Waterford. Obviously, Waterford started the league with a draw against Tipperary in Fraherfield. And, that result looked unbelievable on paper until Leitrim went away to Semple Stadium and beat Tipperary quite comfortably. So, for me, since watching Leitrim go and beat Tipperary so comfortably, that draw doesn't hold the same weight as it did before. And I think Carlow are going to win this game, especially home advantage and everything. Like the Carlow team looks, I haven't seen a team turn over so quickly from a side that had so much hype behind it in 2018, obviously with the Carlow Rise and the victory over Kildare. Their team has completely been flushed out. I mean, it's full of new faces on this side. But then again, I think they have enough to beat Waterford at home, and I'm going to pick them to do that. But I wouldn't be that surprised if Waterford win. But I'm just going to slightly go for Carlow to win that one. Then on the Sunday, an early throw-in, Leitrim host London in Park Sean McDermott. Straight up, I'm going to go with Leitrim to win this one. I know London have had a very good start, back-to-back wins. It's an incredible story. Obviously, 2 years out of the game. They come back, they beat Carlow away, and they beat Waterford. Can't write it better than that, but Leitrim looked pretty good. I mean, going away and beating Tipperary as comfortably as they did. They pushed Cavan for long periods as well in the opening day in Sean McDermott. So I think London coming away, I think this is where the hype ends. I think this is where Leitrim get a comfortable enough victory. I'm going to go with Andy Moore inside to get the job done there. The rest of the games then, both thrown in at 2 o'clock. The first one is in Wexford Park. Wexford against Tipperary, and the second one is in Markovich Park, Sligo against Cavan. First, the Wexford against Tipperary game. This is actually a really hard one to call. At the start of the league campaign, would have been an easy one for me, Tipperary to win, but they look so poor right now. They look absolutely awful. Losing the way that they did. They're so reliant on Conor Sweeney. Wexford, on the other hand, obviously they had the poor start. A poor start for them, obviously back-to-back defeats to Sligo and Cavan. I could see Wexford win this game, but I don't know. I think surely Tipperary have to bounce at some point and pick up some points. So I am going to go for Tipperary to win this game, but narrowly. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if Wexford win. But I'm just about going to go for Tipperary. But this is really the game where they have to turn the corner. And that leads us on to the big game then in Division 4, Sligo against Cavan. Because obviously Cavan have kind of stuttered through the games. I mean, they took a good while to put away Leitrim, and they didn't look all that impressive against Wexford either. I mean, they're pressing up on Brooks's kickouts for Wexford was really what won them the game, but still, they made hard work of it, and they were quite reliant on Gerard McKiernan. So going in against the Sligo side that have looked brilliant so far, I mean, they beat Wexford away from home, and then they put up a huge score in their second game, getting back-to-back wins. So, and that was against Carlow, the second game that they played. They've looked really impressive, and they have them in Markovich Park. So for Cavan, this is definitely, in my opinion, the toughest game that they're going to play in Division 4. I am tipping Cavan to win this game, by the way. I think that they are going to get the 2 points, but I think they're going to get a lot more narrowly than people think. I think it's going to be a 2 or 3 point game. I think Cavan are going to have to really fight for this, and Sligo are going to put them through the pin of their collars. But it would be very interesting to see how it turns out. But yeah, that's my predictions, guys, for this weekend's action. Do you agree with me? Let me know in the comments below. I can't wait to watch this back and see the ones that I got wrong. But yeah, that's my honest opinions here, recording this a couple of days before this Saturday when it all kicks off again. Round 3 of the Allianz League. I can't wait to watch it. Don't forget to catch all the other content here on Play on GAA. Like the video, subscribe, comment, and share. And until the next one, guys, take care.